Hello and welcome back to NoBS. Today we return to talking about another music star who's making a statement in another infamous cover shoot. This week we're talking about a former boy band member named Harry Styles. He used to be in the popular band called One Direction. Nowadays that band is broken up and all the guys are now having their own solo careers. Some of them went to acting, some of them are doing more music and singing and different stuff like that. And today's topic, today's subject, Harry Styles, has a very interesting take on fashion. Apparently, he's become this sort of poster boy for what they're now calling gender neutral fashion, which I find not so neutral actually when you see the real examples of it. It's leaning in another direction, and I predict that there's also another ulterior motive to this sort of feminizing of male fashion. They want guys to dress like girls. They want to suppress masculinity. Masculinity is supposed to be toxic now. So anyone that's too manly or too confident or masculine or anything like that, it's getting shunned. And the people that are more beta and more submissive and will wear female clothes like this Harry Styles guy, they're getting propped up and promoted. So that's the basis for today's story. We're going to go over a cover shoot he did with Vogue, show you some pictures, talk about this whole trend, talk about the story and how there's other stuff actually going on behind it. And we're going to get to all that soon and more. But first, let's take a quick moment to check out our sponsor. The Fighter Flare flashlight is the only tactical flashlight I trust with me and my family's livelihoods. It's the perfect mix of a personal protection tool and a survival tool all put into one. Plus, it's also solar powered, so you never have to worry about wires or batteries ever again. A good tactical flashlight is also powerful enough to have enough brightness to blind an attacker, durable enough to handle getting dropped, thrown, or smashed, and it's reliable enough to never stop working even in the harshest environments. The Fighter Flare flashlight comes with all this and more, so check out my link and get the Fighter Flare flashlight today at www.fighterflare.com or click the link below this video in the description. Great, now that that's out of the way, let's turn right to this article. Here's a tweet of it first. It has two pictures too. It says, "There's so much joy to be had in playing with clothes. I've never thought too much about what it means. It just becomes this extended part of creating something. Read our full December cover story starring Harry Styles here." And we'll get to some more of that cover story soon, but as you can see by these pictures already, this guy, he looks like he's in the Hunger Games. Honestly, this is like Hunger Games style clothes to me. It's like post-apocalyptic, like kind of creepy, kind of weird. Looks like it's from the future, but not so far in the distant future. And I think, like I was saying, this is supposed to be gender neutral is what they call it. But the truth is, what I really see is guys dressing more like girls, guys wearing more feminine stuff, looking more pretty. Like this guy is already a pretty boy too. So this is a dress. Obviously, this is just a guy in a dress with a jacket. So it's not super neutral. I understand people can wear what they want. I don't want to be a super kind of sounding like a bigot here. It's not about coming up against people that have different choices. But the truth is, this is not how regular dudes would dress. This is something coming down from the top. This is sort of a propaganda push from people at Vogue, people in Europe and Britain or wherever this is taking place. They're trying to push this whole gender fluid stuff that we've seen in different instances before too. Actually, one of the biggest videos we have on this channel talks about how something like this was happening in Sweden. Sweden had this happen in a number of cases. Different companies did stories about them. We covered this a few years back and got a lot of great responses to our video because basically what we unfurled was that in Sweden, like with this, like in other progressive countries, they say they're going gender neutral and they're letting the people kind of wear whatever they want, not based on male or female. But the truth is, what happens is guys, boys end up wearing more girl clothes, and then girls stay girls and they're still feminine. Everyone's just wearing girl clothes essentially. They're trying to almost wipe out guys and masculinity, and anything manly is shunned, which is a big trend in the country now, in the world, and it really needs to stop. It shouldn't be that way. I don't know why everyone hates guys all of a sudden. I mean, I know we're pretty cool and popular and people like us and are sometimes jealous of our confidence or something like that, but there's no reason to be bigoted towards guys, just like you shouldn't be bigoted towards girls or another race or people from another country or whatever it may be. So with that said, let's jump to the article. Here's another picture of him. This is from Vogue. This is I mean, it's hard to not laugh here. I'm not trying to be too old school or conservative. I mean, the other thing I'll note, this isn't really related to the clothes, but he's got a lot of silly tattoos like all these musicians do. It reminds me of like a Justin Bieber or all these other singers that get like all these tattoos, like they look like they're from jail. They went to jail, and really they're just these pretty boys, these little soft beta pretty boys with gel in their hair, and they wear jewelry and all this other beta stuff, and they think these tattoos make them badass. Like, it's like, no, Justin Bieber, you're a little guy who sings. Like, these are professional singers. It's totally ridiculous. So the article starts off saying, the men's bathing pond in London's Hampstead Heath at daybreak on a gloomy September morning seemed such an unlikely locale for my first meeting with Harry Styles, music's legendary charm-heavy style czar, that I wondered perhaps if something had been lost in translation. But then there is Styles, cheerily gung-ho, hidden behind a festive yellow bandana mask and a sweatshirt of his own design, surprisingly printed with 3 portraits of his intellectual pinup, the author Alain de Botton. I love his writing, says Styles. I just think he's brilliant. I saw him give a talk about the keys to happiness and how one of the keys is living among friends and how real friendship stems from being vulnerable with someone. So this is someone who's clearly kind of like hippy dippy, like, oh, I know the secrets to the universe. Like, I want to figure out how to be happy, and I love reading, and I make my own sweaters. It's a real interesting person. And again, it's someone, like I said, this is someone who's not really comfortable with masculinity. He's not really likely around a lot of strong male figures. I'm not sure how his family situation was, but he clearly is coming up with this idea that feminine is more preferable for a man, like feminine is better or something like that, when it's just 2 different sides of the human experience, 2 different sides that you could end up on. And there's nothing wrong with being a dude, but it's like we're not really dealing with a manly man converting to a woman either, because it's like, dude, these guys, it's a singer. First of all, singing is great. Like, I like to sing for fun. Plenty of people sing around in a band or something, but singing is not like the most manly profession. It's like a kind of thing that's just like, it's artist stuff. It's kind of like, I don't want to say it's girly because men can sing manly, but when you sing high pitch too, and you're in these boy bands and you're singing with Justin Bieber and these other people, like, these are already kinds of not super manly dudes. And then on top of that, they're like making their own clothes, like some kind of fashion model or something like that. Again, not trying to lay judgment cast down upon them, but we're dealing with people that were already somewhere in the middle. And the fact that he's sliding towards more female stuff is fine and dandy, but I don't think it's like this new gender neutral trend like the whole world is going to follow. Like, no one is acting like these guys. These guys are like rich people that never had a real life either. That's why I keep bringing Justin Bieber into this too, because he's similar to One Direction, where these guys got famous when they're like 13 years old, like real young kids. They never lived in the real world. So them kind of trying to do this fashion thing and act like they know what everyone's going to wear, it's just ridiculous. In turn, de Botton's 2016 novel, The Course of Love, taught Styles that when it comes to relationships, you just expect yourself to be good at it. But being in a real relationship with someone is a skill, one that Styles himself has often had to hone in the unforgiving Klieg light of public attention and in the company of such high-profile paramours as Taylor Swift. And while Styles is too much of a gentleman to name names, that sweatshirt and the Columbia Records tracksuit bottoms are removed in the quaint wooden open-air changing room with his Swallows and Amazons vibe. A handful of intrepid fellow patrons in various states of undress are blissfully unaware of the 26-year-old supernova in their midst. Although I must admit, I'm finding it rather difficult to take my eyes off him, try as I might. Styles has been on a 6-day juice cleanse in a readiness for Vogue's photographer Tyler Mitchell. He practices Pilates. I've gotten very tight hamstrings trying to get those open, and meditates twice a day. It has changed my life, he avers, but it's so subtle. It helped me just to be more present. I feel like I'm able to enjoy the things that are happening right in front of me, even if it's food or it's coffee or it's being with a friend or a swim in the really cold pond. Styles also feels that his meditation practices have helped him through the tumult of 2020. Meditation just brings a stillness that has been really beneficial, I think, for my mental health. So more liberal buzzwords, more leftist ideas, very hippy dippy again, meditation, going to the far left. Like, these are like the people that live in communes and grow on their own land and do all that kinds of like hippy dippy stuff, never get married, have multiple partners out there, live on these big kinds of communes is what they usually call them. And this is what this guy reminds me of. And if that works for him, that's all fine and dandy. That's cool. Like meditation, I'm not like against that, but you put all this together, this guy's like making his own clothes, meditating, juice cleansing. He's just a real hippie kind of hipster, liberal kind of, you know, just up his own butt about everything, thinking his stuff don't stink, things like that. It's just fun to watch, but also very cringe and very interesting. This is the kind of guy who dresses like like this. And I can see why people are talking about this. Again, I don't want to come down too hard on it and get some kind of hate speech strike or something. It's not about that. It's just an interesting story worth going over, worth talking about with you guys and getting your perspective on it too. So with that said, tell me what you think. Comment your thoughts below. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the bell for notifications. Hit the like button too. And until next time, have a great day.